Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast. Enjoy.
Yes, you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast because I should say, I am back and I am so excited to be here as I fade. Oh, let me get a little more situated here. As I fade into my background. As always, first show's getting the tweaks. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see what happens if I do this. Nope, didn't help. Okay. We're gonna figure all this fun lighting stuff out as we go. Because, like I said, this is my first show back after being away. If you missed my special with John Billingsley and Jonathan Delarco and Natalia Castellanos, it is available on YouTube. It was live. It was about the strike. For those of you that don't know, the WGA has come to a tentative settlement, and we are all excited about that. And I'm hoping that this leads to SAG actually following suit and people sitting down and making SAG happen. Oh no, that's not what I went to. Sorry. HP has its own ring light, like literally on the monitor, and that's what I'm playing with to see if it can make me come through any clearer than the background. But you know what? I am here. I'm talking to you. Zod has just joined us. For those of you that haven't met him, this is General Zod. He is my studio mate. Hello, Robert. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I had a really good summer. STLV as always was a highlight. I actually started a new job, so money is good. Having it is good. so so that's all great. And like I said, new tech stuff, trying to figure these things out. Do I stay with Restream, which I am really, really leaning to because I really do enjoy all the fun bonuses like that really cool countdown clock that I found. But before we really get underway, there is something I wanted to address. There are a couple of new things. Hi, Jover! So good to see you. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming. I'm so excited that you're here. So I wanted to start with a couple of new things that are going to be happening this season. First of all, we are going completely YouTube. Instead of going between Facebook and YouTube, I decided everybody can come join us on YouTube. A, it's really good for my YouTube numbers. B, Facebook. There weren't really that many people. And C, that way when everybody's chatting, everybody's going to see everybody. Because when I was doing it between the two streams and you all are chatting, the Facebook people can't see the YouTube people and vice versa. So we're going to stay right here on YouTube. Secondly, and this does, I'm not gonna lie, this, hey, Slack Twaddle, good to see you. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this is coming. You know what, Robert? I so wanted to go to Dragon Con and I just couldn't make it work this year, unfortunately. This is based on a lot of what I see on the Shuttlepod Show, and I'm not gonna lie. And this is my choice. This is a stance that I myself have chosen to take, and it leans towards hashtag be kind, which we all know, Chase Masterson and Raymond Lister, and it also goes to basic respect. I don't have a problem if you disagree with anything I say on this show. You can disagree 127% with anything I said, and you can even post that you disagree with me, and you can post that you don't like something or something that I've said. All I ask, and I don't think it's a big ask, is just be respectful. Just be respectful. I have a zero tolerance for disrespect. I don't know if it's because it's my old age, I'm getting old and crotchety. I don't know what it is, but I've decided this year it is a zero tolerance for bullshit on my comments page. If you bullshit on my comments page, it's getting deleted. That's it. You just gotta be respectful. Disagree, say you didn't like something, private message me on the socials and tell me and have a conversation with me. That's totally fine. But if you're gonna be outright disrespectful like somebody was to Erica on her last appearance on this show, it's getting deleted. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. Most because everybody that follows the show, everybody that is here is incredibly respectful. It usually ends up being those one-off people that come in that aren't. But I'm letting all of you know too, because that way, if you see your comment and then it disappears at some point, it's because I deleted it. Because I'm just, at this point, zero tolerance for bullying, for disrespecting anybody, disrespecting me, disrespecting anybody in the chat pack 2.0, and definitely disrespecting any of my guests. Just not going to fly. So I'm kind of putting that out there right now. Also, for those of you that joined me for my very brief live from my hotel room at STLV this year and saw what I was drinking, look what I found. It's back. It's High Noon. I love this stuff. It's vodka and soda flavored with real pineapple juice by High Noon. I found it in a local liquor store. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend that they become one of my sponsors. I love this. I would love to hook up with them because this stuff, it's so good. It's so light. It's like the perfect thing to chill out on a Monday night with. And it's pineapple, for Lieutenant Reed back there. Got to do some pineapple, but it's vodka soda, fresh pineapple juice in a can, and the can's resealable. You break the seal and then the little thing slides back, so I don't even have to drink the whole thing before the show's over, which is great because nobody wants to watch me get drunk on my first show. But again, I highly recommend it. It's High Noon pineapple, vodka soda pineapple. It's fantastic. So the first thing that I want to talk about now that I've gotten the PSA out of the way, I've talked about High Noon, is that today is an awesome day. It is the day before the anniversary of Broken Bow. So absolutely, Broken Bow aired September 26, 2001. But today is also the birthday of Christopher Reeve. And I just found out it's also Mark Hamill's birthday, which is awesome because those were two of my very first Hollywood crushes, were Christopher Reeve and Mark Hamill. So I love that. But also somebody that is very near and dear to my heart, my Aunt Hertza, her birthday would have been today. And I loved her so much. She was the cool aunt that everybody, usually has, like that one cool aunt. That was my Aunt Hertza. So happy birthday to those that aren't here with us, as well as Mark Hamill, who turns, I think I saw it, 72. Luke Skywalker, voice of Joker, he is 72 today. So how do we usually start the show? Well, the show usually starts with recaps of what has been happening in Star Trek. Well, a lot has been happening in Star Trek since I've been gone, including a Strange New Worlds musical. So I'm going to do a quick rundown. I don't want this entire show to be about recapping everything that's Star Trek related. I love the fact that we got to see more of Spock doing the human thing this year in Strange New Worlds. In fact, I might have purposely bumped into Ethan Peck on the picket line when I was out for United We Trek. He was there. Melissa, I think her last name's Navarro, the helmsman, Ortega. The two of them were there picketing on Star Trek Day for United We Trek, and I waited until everything was over. He was still hanging around. I went up to him. He remembered me, which is very cool. He's very sweet. I just told him how much I was loving the second season. And I loved watching him bring out Spock's more human side, including an entire episode where he was just human. I mean, we all know that he didn't do the Kolinahr until the original motion picture. So you have to figure he was battling his human, quote unquote, battling his human side and his emotions for a little more than that 5-year mission. We saw it in the menagerie when he, was emotional at the flowers, at the plants that sang. So I don't see any problem with Strange New Worlds making him more human and making him battle with figure out his emotional side. And he obviously has a very emotional human side because in Charade, it just all came out and it was amazing. And that was a really good episode. And I have to admit, Mia Kirshner is a fantastic Amanda. I think she's great as Amanda. And I think, I can't get behind anybody besides Mark Leonard playing Sarek, just because I've loved Mark Leonard since the very beginning. I think he's fantastic. And I don't think anybody's ever going to play him as well. But Jane Wyman? I mean, she didn't really play Amanda much. I mean, Amanda's gotten more involved in, you know, Strange New Worlds and some other roles. So we're getting a better character. We're getting a better look at Amanda. So, and I think Mia Kushner was a perfect choice for that. Obviously, I think we can all agree that my favorite Strange New World episode has to be those old scientists. I mean, the crossover was fantastic. The fact that Jack Quaid did the Boimler run, I mean, that was amazing. How well the actors mimicked their cartoon selves. I thought that was fabulous. And of course, all the Enterprise love that episode had, including the fact that we find out that there's a piece of the NX-01 on the 1701. I mean, how stinking cool was that? So that ranks up there as my absolute favorite episode. Subspace Rhapsody. Love it or hate it. I think that's a lot for a lot of people. You know, there's very little in between. I'm okay with it. Anson, Ethan, and Christina were at Dragon Con, and I got to meet them because I was working their panels. That is awesome, Robert. I've met Anson and Ethan, have not met Christina. I think that's amazing. And you know what? Ethan will remember you. I guarantee you, if you go up and say hi to him at some other point, he will absolutely remember you. Oh, Jober, you are terrible. You are absolutely terrible, but that is funny. That's hysterical. I love that. I like Subspace Rhapsody. I could do without seeing another one. I don't need, you know, another space opera, but it was good. A lot of people... See, it's delicious. A lot of people were saying that the fact that they mentioned bunnies might have been a shout out to Buffy. And then Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which had a musical episode called Once More with Feeling. And one of the characters did an entire song, and half the song was about how much she hated bunnies and was afraid of bunnies, and bunnies were evil. Oh, that's all. See, Ethan's amazing. Ethan's amazing. Sorry. Let's see. Subspace Rhapsody was my favorite episode of the season. Yeah, I think it was great. I love hearing actors sing. I mean, it's so rare anymore that actors are a triple threat. I actually had this conversation very, very briefly with Anthony Montgomery, and then with somebody from the Orville, but we'll get to that in a second, about actors that can act and sing and dance. You don't see that enough anymore. Back in the day, like in the 50s and 60s, that was the thing. Nowadays, not so much. So I love seeing the extra talent or the other talents that some of these amazing actors have. So I'll tell you, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really interesting. I was waiting for a little Klingon opera. Didn't happen. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure that the bunnies was a shout out to Buffy. Some people were talking about it, and then somebody said Klingon pop. The Klingons should just come out with a pop album. There you go. So somebody said that Buffy, Buffy did it first. Buffy, for the record, did not do it first. Xena did it first. They had an entirely musical episode. Like, everything was sung. It's called The Bittersweet. It was written by Joseph DeLuca. I have the CD. It was amazing. Lucy Lawless is actually opera trained. So Lucy Lawless was fantastic. Lucy Lawless has a great voice. Renee O'Connor they dubbed because she couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. Ted Raimi's not bad. Hudson Layak, I can't believe that. Yes, Hudson Layak sang. She was good. She played Callisto. And Kevin Smith, who was dearly missed, who played Ares. That was a fantastic musical. And that literally, from beginning to end, was a music video. I remember Cop Rock. I never watched Cop Rock. So Xena did that episode, and then they did one a little bit later on that wasn't original score. It was actually using modern music, kind of like Moulin Rouge in a way, where they dumped modern music in to fit their era. So Buffy did not do it first. Buffy did it well. I always say the one thing I remember about the Buffy musical is at the end when she starts singing about the fact that her friends didn't pull her out of hell, that they pulled her out of heaven. That she thought she was in heaven. You want to talk about a showstopper? Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. Buffy dies. But she gets to come back on like trip so far. We don't know yet. I love the crossover. Like I said, I think the crossover is going to be my favorite. Subspace Rhapsody, I thought was good. I think I very, that sounds, Gallivant sounds vaguely familiar. I'll have to look that up to see if it is what I think it is. Okay, so that is my synopsis for Lower Deck, or for Strange New Worlds. JR! Oh, hi, JR. Thanks so much for popping by. Lower Decks. I'm just going to go over this. Lower Decks, awesome, as always. Hysterical, as always. Doing much more love this year for Enterprise. There have been at least 2 Enterprise references. The one from this past episode was fantastic because we're learning about Tendi and we're learning a little bit more about the Orions. And I was waiting to see, I'm like, they have covered the fact that Enterprise showed that the Orion women were in charge, right? And then they went balls to the wall to show you that, yes, we remember Enterprise said things about Orions and pheromones. And the line with Orion pheromones, well, how else could you explain a Starfleet captain losing control to a bunch of slave girls? I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was a great line. Well done, Lower Decks. Okay, so that was Lower Decks. So Shuttlepod Show, after all, this is the after party, and there ain't no party like an after party. They have been getting a lot of love for doing the behind the scenes stuff. Hey, Alan, welcome. Shuttlepod Show Mark, did Mark Cartier pop in here? How did I miss Mark? Mark. Hey, Mark. Thanks for popping in. Just what I was about to talk about you. It's a good thing I only have nice things to say. My check better be in the mail. The Shuttlepod Show has been getting a lot of love for their behind the scenes stuff, which I think is fantastic. I think, I love that. It's a pile of his favorite people. Yes. Okay. Maybe that should be the subtitle of my show, a pile of my favorite people. But the fact that the Shuttlepod Show is recognizing the strike by bringing on all the behind the scenes people that can tell these amazing stories about what it looks like to be behind the scenes of shows like Enterprise. And they have more of a freedom to talk now because they're not part of SAG, and they can tell their stories without, worrying about what they say. And I've seen it in all of the chats. I've loved every single one of them. I guess my favorite one had to be last week because Mark and I were hanging out together at a bar in Soho, sitting next to each other watching the show because they were in New York for a couple of days. So I think that has to be my favorite show of this season, Mark, is the one where I got to sit next to you and have a mimosa and sit at the bar and watch it together. And you still wouldn't tell me. I want you to know Mark is really good because I sat next to him and I'm like, they started playing trivia and I'm like, who won? Mark's like, nope, you got to watch it. Oh my gosh, that's right. Everybody wish Jober the best of luck. He is leaving very soon for his U.S. Olympic team trials. So we wish you the best of luck. Keep us all informed. Be posting on your socials. You can totally share how people can find you on your socials in the chat, Jober, so we can all see what's going on. I'm already following you. So that's right. We were the official NX7062 Mark Manhattan watch party. That's it. And we would be willing to expand that watch party the next time that they're in New York City. So we need to organize that. But it was fun just sitting in a bar. When my computer finally started working, I bought a Surface Pro so that I could stop lugging my stupid laptop all over the place. And actually have like a little computer I could type on. And for some reason, until Mark started fiddling with it, I couldn't get it on the internet. But it finally decided to behave itself, so I was able to participate. So yes, so please continue to watch the Shuttlepod Show. Continue to hang out with me because I am, after all, you see, Mark's here, the official after party, and I'm putting Mark on the spot because tonight I'm talking about my STLV experiences. And I'm going to fill you all in on how much fun I had at STLV, but it was Mark's first STLV. And he went big because he didn't just come as an attendee. He came with the whole Shuttlepod Show. So maybe next week we can talk Mark into coming on to tell us all about his STLV experience and what he thought about that, because we would love to have you come on, Mark, as usual. And because you gotta kick off the season. You gotta kick off my show after all, official after party and all. So I promised to talk to y'all about Vegas. What to say about Vegas? Besides the fact Vegas is awesome. I love Vegas. I know a lot of people don't like Vegas. Vegas is awesome, in my opinion. The Rio was like home. They are having it again at the Rio this year or next year. I made the mistake of not booking the room when I first saw them available because I'm an idiot and because I didn't have the money for the down payment. And I figured, I'll just get it together and do it. The room's just doubled in price. Basically, I think Caesars is just trying to get that's right. All right. So it's official. You saw it here first. Mark is going to be joining me here next week. But before that, they have a live show Wednesday night, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Oh, yay. It's 6 p.m. Eastern. Yay. I might actually be able to fit that into my schedule. So everybody, and I know it's also about, it's about the strike as well. Some of my past guests, you got Michelle Hurd. I'm totally jealous. I love her. Michelle Hurd, John Billingsley, and Natalia Castellanos. And we all know John and Natalia are incredible. And Michelle, it goes without saying. So everybody, that's Wednesday. Mark your calendars. Mark your calendars for the Shuttlepod Show. So Caesars doubled the price of the Rio rooms, probably because they're trying to get as much in as they can before it all switches over, because the minute the new management takes over, you can't book rooms to the Rio. So at this point, the room I want for the days I want is $2,000. So I am going to wait. So I'm going to wait and see what happens with the new owners and cross my fingers that I'll be able to do something better once it's under new ownership. Quarter Shuttlepod Show, 3/4 strike special. I like that. That's cool. So I'm gonna wait and see. The other thing too is if I can't get Caesar's points for booking at the Rio once it changes hands, then I'm just gonna wait and maybe book it through Vegas.com. But I definitely need to stay at the Rio for the convention because, as I've said many a time, it's the best place to stay if you can afford it. I know when Alan came out, he stayed at the Palms. That was a little bit of a walk. That's not something I would have wanted to do every day, but Alan, I think, was okay with it. Gold Coast is closest, which again is still a little bit of a walk because the convention center is on the opposite side of the Rio. So just the minute you walk into the Rio, you still have to hike all the way down to the convention center. But it's an amazing experience. It's a big reunion for me. I get to see old friends. I made new ones or cemented some friendships. I've always known Mickey Gunter. She has a booth called Make It So, which she hand sews all of this, these amazing things. She's just so uber creative, and she did my nails for the show. Anybody that was there, I had blue nails, and she actually put little pipes on it for Enterprise crew. Like I had red pipes and red and blue and gold, and then she even put their little insignias on them. It was great. I loved it. So I got to cement a friendship with Mickey, who was a local. So I broke my own rule, which is don't go off campus. Mickey had a car, so we went all over the place. We went to Planet 13, which is the amazing cannabis mall, which Alan, if you come out next year, come out early and maybe we'll have a chance to go, because Planet 13, if you are a fan of cannabis, is the coolest place on the planet. And if you go with a local, you get discounts. So I got my stuff. What was it? Buy one, get one. I got my favorite Sleepy by gummies. Buy one, get one. Yeah, Alan. See what happens? Make plans now to be there early, at least a day early, so that we can go over. That's the other thing. This year, it starts on my birthday. Yes, that's a thing. Thursday, August 1st, is the opening day of STLV, which means that Enterprise Karaoke, assuming it's a thing again, is happening on my birthday. Of course you do. Giant plans. And I know that, Stephanie, who's one of the owners of Creation, loved you guys, and we're going to work with her a lot closer this year and a lot further in advance. Because you know what, for as short of notice as Shuttlepod Show had, they worked with us. Creation was great. They worked with us. I think we had a fantastic location. We were literally next to 455 Films. They're the production company that brought you all of the documentaries, Love of Spock, What We Left Behind. They're working on the Voyager documentary right now. If you saw the Shuttlepod Show with Lolita, you know who 455 Films are. It's run by Dave Sapone. He's amazing. He's bi-coastal, and he actually has a house up in Hoboken, New Jersey. So we're only about an hour or so from each other. And I keep teasing him about Hoboken. He swears he's going to get me up there for a drink. And I literally just saw an article that says that there's a bar in Hoboken that has like the best rib. Reed, mommy's busy. I can hear him. Has the best prime rib deal on Monday nights. So I might have to make a Monday night trip up to Hoboken. I can't wait. He loves it. And I saw a picture from his house, and it's beautiful. And I'm like, wow, that's Hoboken. Okay, then. But 455 Films are great. There is going to be an Enterprise documentary. So it's just they put out fantastic products. Their documentaries are fantastic. Everything they do is meticulous and researched and well done and well produced, which means they aren't touching Enterprise until Voyager is done and put to bed and out. And then they're going to start all the prelims, I'm sure, on Enterprise as soon as they can. But I did talk to David about that a little bit. He was busy. We were busy. Meeting the fans was fantastic. I met some of my fans, Dave Gregory. I finally met face-to-face Eve England. I met face-to-face. I met a bunch of all the amazing Shuttlepod Show fans. Some of them had the nerve not to know who I was, but that's okay. It's such an incredible experience. And like I said, I was out there from Saturday before the convention to the Tuesday after the convention. So I just did, I toured some Gordon Ramsay restaurants. He has a new one in Harrah's. So Mickey and I went to that one. I highly recommend, if you like handcrafted dolls and handcrafted jewelry and handcrafted stuff, you have to visit Mickey. She has her booth in the same location every year. It's in the corner by where you get your costumes fixed. There is a cosplay booth. If you need help with your cosplay because it busted a seam, that's where you go. And speaking of cosplay, that was the other cool thing. Tiff came out early. Tiff, one of the Wash Gang, came out early, and she stayed with me for a couple of days. And most of that time she was working on her fabulous Chapel cosplay. She looked fantastic. I watched her turn basically these beautiful pieces of gray cloth into a bodice, and it was so cool because I can barely sew a straight line if I'm trying to repair a pair of pants. And she just literally put all of this together. It was fantastic. There was karaoke every night at the coffee shop / bar in the Rio. So we sang karaoke. I sang karaoke just about every night, except Enterprise karaoke. I did not get called for that. Connor and Dominic, as always, were fantastic hosts. And Connor came up with, if we call your name and you don't show up, then we're giving your song away. I thought that was a great way to get other people to get other people involved that might have been nervous otherwise. And there's always one really little girl in the crowd or young child, like 8 or 10 or something, that has like a kick-ass voice. And they always come up. And the one year that I sang, they put me right behind her. She came up and kicked ass. And I'm like, but I sang the theme. So, you're usually safe if you sing the theme, then people are going to love you. So I did sing Where My Heart Will Take Me. What else about STLV? Oh, okay. So because this is a good thing. I think this is a good thing. And somebody else was being weird about it on a Facebook page I saw earlier, because they don't have their license with Paramount anymore, which I don't know if they're going to get it back. I believe Reed Pop just is done. So I don't know if Paramount's going to be looking after the strike's over and everything. I don't know if Paramount's going to be looking for another licensee or if they're just going to not license any more conventions. I don't know. But because they don't have a license anymore, they're free to invite whoever the hell they want. because they're not a Star Trek convention anymore. They can't be. They're not allowed to be. So they are a Star Trek or a Trek. I'm even supposed to say Star Trek. They're a Trek-themed convention. So 90% of their people are from Trek because that's what people come out to Vegas to see. But because they're not beholden to Paramount anymore, they had half the cast of the Orville come out. So that was fantastic. I didn't get to see the panel because I was running to get ready to go do something. I think that was Saturday. Yeah, that was Saturday. I had John Billingsley's cocktail party. So I didn't get to see the Orville panel, but I am friends with Peter Macon. I worked with Peter Macon, who plays Bortus on the Orville. We worked together. I worked with him in Shore Leave, which is another fantastic convention in Maryland. Really easy to get to if you live anywhere in the Northeast. Although they just lost their home. Any Shore Leave fans out there that haven't heard, the Delta Hotel is closing at the end of October. So Shore Leave is now looking for a new home in the same general area. But it's fantastic. It's a fantastic convention, and they paired me. Yes, we do. And I believe, and Mark is in the room, but I think that's something that they're working on or hoping to work on, is getting Seth on the show. There was a rumor that Seth might have come to STLV, but with the strike, why would you have the guy that created this fantastic show get on stage and not even be able to say its name? So I totally get it. If he was in consideration, I totally get why they wouldn't bother to have him out. But they did have Peter Macon, who again, he played Bortus. They had Peter Macon and Adrian Palacki and Jay Lee and Scott Grimes, and I feel terrible, Mark, whoever plays Isaac, I feel terrible, I can't remember his name. They were all out, and yep, see, there you go. They've been speaking with Seth. Oh, that's amazing. You heard it here first, people. Seth MacFarlane. Yes, but is Connor going to get to yell at him? Yes, they're building the new studio. That's what I said in the chats yesterday, actually, is that every week we get to see the progression of the studio. It's a work in progress, and we all get to kind of go along for the ride as you get the new studio done. High noon. Pineapple vodka soda. Yum. So Peter and I have been trying to spend some time together. So Saturday night, he asked if I wanted to come and have a drink. And Jay Lee is so stinking talented. I love Jay. Oh. All right. Well, we'd love to see some pictures if you want to post something to, your internets, your socials. So long story short, Peter asked me if I wanted to go out to dinner. So I ended up going out to dinner with everybody that was there from the Orville except Scott. Why not Scott? Because Scott was busy doing the gala at STLV, and he was too tired to come join us. Adrian actually sent him a video. She was like videoing everybody at the table, but he bailed. On us, which sucks. I would have loved to have met him, but that crew is freaking fantastic. And Jay and I had a conversation about being multi-talented, being an actor that can sing, or being an actor that could do this, and about those sorts of gifts are meant to be shared. And if you have them, you should share them. So the fact that Jay's a great piano player and he shares that with the world. Scott obviously is an incredibly talented musician as well. He's done it I love watching him play on the show. Seth MacFarlane is disgustingly talented. And Mark, whenever you get him on the damn show, at least have an electronic keyboard in there. I want to hear him sing. I will think of a question for him, but my question would just be, could you please sing something? Because as much as I love Family Guy and Orville and his way of storytelling and his way, he does, this is where he does Star Trek better than Star Trek has lately. If Seth has a commentary to make if Seth has social commentary to make, he makes it in his stories. And he does it so beautifully that he makes you want to cry with the way, I mean, the whole thing with Bortus's daughter was so beautifully done, so well told, so perfect. And Star Trek used to do that really well. They're getting better at it lately, but I think Seth really does it better than they do. I mean, Star Trek Discovery's fantastic with what they're doing, but I just think the storytelling that Seth does is smoother. It's just much smoother. Just like JR says, his voice is smooth. He is a crooner. I have said this before. Oh, tell Wash we all said congratulations. Wash has a baby, so everybody say congratulations to Wash. Yeah, there you go, Alan. That's perfect. You watched for the laugh and you stayed for the tears. And I got to tell Mark, who plays Isaac, I mean, where else are you going to find basically a artificial intelligence like Isaac bring you to tears, right? When he's like, I'll do the surgery. I'm about to cry about it now. An AI is just like, I'm going to do this because this is important. And that way his doctor wouldn't have to sacrifice her career. If you haven't watched The Orville, freaking watch The Orville. It's on Hulu. We're all hoping for a 4th season. Seth doesn't sit on his hands. That's the one thing I've learned from talking to the people that know him from The Orville. Seth does not sit on his hands. So obviously the strike has put a bookmark in whatever it was that he was doing. But not that anybody is allowed to leave this stream. But if you are a Patreon member of the Shuttlepod Show, you can click over to Discord and check out pictures of the studio. Yeah, but Seth is Seth is never an idle human. So hopefully we'll hear some good news about the Orville getting a 4th season in a new home. Just like we're hoping Prodigy finds a new home, right? My favorite song is Two Sleepy People, but the best version is the one sung by Norah Jones and Seth MacFarlane. Seth, all right, I'm about to say something publicly, and no phone calls, no letters, okay? I don't like Michael Bublé. I think Michael Bublé is a crooner wannabe. Thank you, thank you, Jeannie. That's right. Wait till I'm done, then go look at Mark's pictures. Thank you. Michael Bublé is a poser. He's a crooner wannabe. Seth MacFarlane is freaking the Rat Pack incarnate. He is the rebirth of the Rat Pack. He is a crooner. He has got the chops to do it. He wrote there. If anybody's ever seen Ted 2, there's a song that, oh my God, I can't remember what the heck the actress's name is. There's a song called Mean Old Moon that's in there that you would think came right out of the 50s, early 60s. Seth wrote it. He wrote it. So what he does at his house, sits at his piano, plays for people at his parties. I hope I'm not speaking out of school, Peter. This is what Peter told me. But Jober, please don't make me spit out my fizzy water. That's great. That's so funny. I love that. But what else about STLV? Oh, the other thing is Mark and Erica and I and Mars and Connor and Dominic all were invited to John Billingsley's cocktail party to help kick off Trek Talks 3. The strike is still on. John has just said, all I can say is, yay, Trek Talks 3. Stay tuned. There will be more information as soon as it becomes available. It is going to be happening. I was dog sitting last year. I probably mentioned this last year. I was dog sitting for the weekend last year. It was perfect. Hey, Travis. I was dog sitting last year, so it was perfect timing. My cousins have this huge TV with YouTube, obviously. Turned it on, kicked back, watched the dog, and watched Trek Talks for the entire day. It was fantastic. Then I put it on my phone and drove to Wawa for dinner and came home. Amanda Seyfried, thank you, Jober. That's her name. Mean Old Moon, sung by Amanda. And it's a great song. And it's a great song. And like I said, you would really think that it was right out of, something Frank or Dean did, but it's not. Seth wrote it. So yes, Trek Talks 3 is coming. It is probably going to be bigger and better. We know, I can't even really say, I can't say anything else about it except, as always, John is right there for the Hollywood Food Coalition. Wednesday, he's going to be there to talk more about the strike on that other show that we all watch. That guy Mark that's in the chat does. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that's something on Wednesday night you guys can tune into. And ask questions. It's going to be great. And like I said, Michelle Hurd is fantastic. Natalia's lovely. It's going to be an incredible conversation, Mark. I'm sure you're looking forward to it. And like I said, SAG-AFTRA strong. I did a little bit of picture taking and Instagramming from my side. You guys, I know you guys were all at the Paramount one. It's funny. That strike almost didn't happen. That picket almost didn't happen in New York because it was ballot counting day for SAG East. So SAG didn't have anybody to run the picket. But the WGA heard and picked it up and said, well, we'll do the picket that day. Because I was seriously going to be like, you know what? If they're not marching in New York, how quickly can I get on a plane? Because I really wanted to support it because, we all sit here, in our living rooms or wherever, and we want to support it. We believe in what the actors are doing. We believe what they're trying to do. And so we want to support it. So I was just really glad to be able to be a very small, very, very, very small part of supporting the actors. And I'm sure they're going to mention this on Mark's show. They mentioned it on my show about how important it is for the fans to be involved because it raises the voices. It amplifies everything. It makes the studios understand that this isn't just about the actors. This is about their fans, and the fans want what's best for their actors as well. They want to see that their favorite actors are well treated. They don't want the product. They want to know that the product comes not at this horrible expense of the actors. So, all right. Yes, I had heard this too, a Patreon housewarming party for the studio, which is going to be awesome. By the way, my new day job is travel agent, so I might as well throw in a thing for myself. If anybody needs help booking anything for a housewarming party, let me know because I might be able to help you out a little bit. You can DM me in one of my socials because that's my new real job is moving into helping people book travel. So come see me if you want to go to the housewarming party or to the live show 2.0, which is happening in either February or March. I'm just curious about something. Let me calendar things here. Let's see. Wait, March. March 19th on a Tuesday this year, unfortunately. I was going to say, can we do something big for Connor's birthday? But whenever Mark wants to have the live show, we will always be there. I was actually talking to my parents about it. Must have been last night. About how much I love the Gary Marshall Theater and the fact that it was across from a Starbucks and Bob's Big Boy. Oh, live event very soon. Yay! Yay. Or you could wait to announce it on my show. I'm just saying. Whatever you want to do, Mark. I'm behind you 100%. I can't wait. I can't wait to be out there. I miss LA. I miss Burbank. Eric and I have some horseback riding to do. We keep talking about going horseback riding. There's a really great place to go horseback riding in the hills called Sunset Ranch. I went, I guess, a year and a half or so ago, and it was fantastic. And I would love to get back and do some horseback riding. So I'm trying to think, most of you guys were at STLV. Travis wasn't, Jober wasn't. The new website looks awesome. About to launch that too. This really is turning into the after party. I can't wait for any of this. This is going to be fan-damn-tastic. So I'm trying to think what else happened at STLV. Anything of note. Worked with the Shuttlepod Show. That was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun seeing the Wash Gang again. Like I said, I broke my own rules. I actually went out because I knew somebody with a car. I think that's the trick. Don't Uber from the Rio because you'll just waste all your money. In fact, when I was there, I was trying to figure out how to get food, and then I realized, Instacart. So I literally Instacarted from Target instead of spending the money on an Uber. I Instacarted from Target because that just made my life so much easier. Except that you can't Insta everything. Like I needed a new pillow. Jober, we want to see you. We want to see you in the Olympics. You are allowed to miss STLV. If ever there was a reason to miss STLV, in training is definitely one of them. See what else? Okay, so if you guys think of any questions you have about Vegas, but like I said, you all went. But if you have any questions, let me know. But I kind of wanted to recap or go over what is happening this year. So the other thing I did while I was in Vegas, of course, was talk to a bunch of different people about coming on my show, including the one and only Anthony Montgomery. I have been trying to get Anthony on this show for years. I'm not going to lie. I used to ask him about it every time I saw him. But Anthony was very much, if I have something to talk about. And at that point, it was going to be Miles Away, which was his graphic novel that was being optioned for an animated series, but then COVID. But anybody that watched Trek Talks 2 knows that Anthony has a memoir coming out. And when the memoir comes out, he's all in for going everywhere. And I'm like, I'll take it. Come on my show. I'll totally take that. If that's how it's going to be when you're on your press tour. So hopefully we've got Anthony Montgomery. I have talked to Evan Evangora and Issa Baronis from Picard, and I would love to have them on. I've met them a couple times. I love Issa. Issa's amazing. Who else have I talked to? Talked to David Ajala. The only problem with David Ajala is he's in London. So that's going to be kind of a hard one to nail down unless I record it and then play it back for you guys, which I will be happy to do because David Ajala, British, gorgeous. I mean, he could read me the phone book. Bruce Hornack, who played Hemmer, who we all got to see one more time this year. Talked to him about coming on the show. He's all in. He's all for that. But again, these are all fantastic actors that I will not have on until the strike is over. Jonathan Del Arco had said that he'll do it once the strike is over. Because obviously, like I said, when they came on, we were talking about the strike and we weren't going to be talking about acting. So until I can get some amazing actors on after the strike is settled and you guys are free to ask them whatever questions you want and they can answer you without having to censor themselves, I'm going to be hopefully filling out my roster with some fantastic interviews for this year. I'll probably be squeezing Mark in somewhere. I'll be squeezing Eric in somewhere. You guys know that. Oh, John Billingsley. You guys had all voted to have Bonnie come back. And John volunteered to come back with her so we could do John and Bonnie together, which would be fantastic. So that's all in the works. Mark is going to be next week. And then maybe the week after, I think we're going to start. What I want to start to do is, you guys have always heard me doing the whole Convention 101 thing. I always talk about conventions, Convention 101. This is how you should behave. This is what goes on. This is what you need to understand. That's all from me, my perspective, my experience, which is both as a fan and somebody that's worked. But I've never run a convention, and I am not a big booking agent. I've booked J.G. Hertzler and a couple things, and Bob O'Reilly and a couple other people, but I've never booked, honestly. I've never made that my business model or my business. So I've asked Derek from Cool Water Productions to come on to talk about what it is to be a booking agent. He books for Doug Jones. He books for David. He is Cool Waters. It's his baby, and he's so much fun, and he's so great. So I'm gonna have Derek come on, and I've also invited Stephanie, who runs Trek Long Island. Trek Long Island is her baby. She started it. Oh, Slack. Thank you for stopping by, and please don't apologize for leaving because you were here, and that's so important, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for stopping by. Mark, when aren't you chasing big things that we're all going to be super excited about? That's what I love about you. Oh, well, Mark, if you're that excited, then I'm sure we're going to be just as. So Stephanie, Star Trek Long Island is her, Trek Long Island is her baby. And it was a great first year last year. Woohoo, Wash Gang. It was a great first year last year. She's doing it again this year. It's going to be 3 days instead of 2. That's it. David, please come on my show and read the phone book. I think everybody would be okay with that. I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you almost and didn't really stub your toe, JR. So I want to have those two guys on. So you guys can get a feel for what it's like from a real behind the scenes perspective of what it takes to put on a convention. Because I want people to have a complete overall understanding. Because again, I've seen so many people that get down on creation for what they do, that get down on actors for pulling out or doing this or doing that. And I think a lot of it just comes from a place of not understanding the mechanics and not understanding the dynamics and what it really takes to put on a convention. And so I want everybody to have an understanding. It may not change people's minds, and that's fine, but I think that I think it's important to hear things from the other side for everybody. So maybe the next time you think of dissing somebody and saying, oh, well, this was terrible, or I had a terrible time or whatever, you'll think twice because of something that Derek said about what it's like for the actors, or what it's like to book people, or something Stephanie said about how much blood, sweat, and tears it takes to put on a good convention when your focus really is the fans. And even when your focus is the fans, it doesn't happen without money. And I think that's what a lot of people lose sight of is it is for the fans. We do this for the fans, but we can't do it without the money. And I just kind of want to hear, because like I said, it's Stephanie's second year. So I just want you guys to hear it from all the sides, and you can have a really well-rounded sense of what it's like for people to put on a convention. Mark Cartier, are you still with us? Just raise your hand, because I do have a question for you as I'm rolling down the list of people do like money. And unfortunately, until the days of we've gotten past money, it's still what makes the world go round. But Mark, I'm not going to say anything unless Mark is still here. So there's one more big question I need to ask him. And while we're waiting, please remember, High Noon Sun Sips, the most delicious thing in a can that I have had yet. Vodka, soda, and pineapple because Reed. Mark. I said something to Dominic at the cocktail party, and yes, exactly. Can't drink without money either. And so I'm saying it to you officially. When am I going to get my crossover episode of the Shuttlepod Show where I can have Connor and Dominic on here? Doesn't have to be soon. I would just like to know that at some point it could happen, maybe before the end of the 3rd season. Yeah, I'm sure there's a delay because I'm using a third party. I know you're on StreamYard, but I really need to introduce you to Restream, because there are definitely You're laughing at are you laughing at my request? Are you laughing at my request, Mark? I am the official after party for the Shuttlepod Show. I got to shoot my shot where I can, baby. And you are here. And I'm hoping maybe tired and just, you'll just put something out there that I can, save and say, no, you said this. Mark knows I've wanted this from the beginning. And I did actually tell Dominic that I wanted him on the show. I'm like, you need to come on my show. And he sort of said yes. I said, I'll ask Mark. I said, we'll figure something out. You should come back on I said, you should come on my show. Oh, you're laughing at the delay. All right. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. Okay. See there, that proves the delay, because I didn't know if you were laughing at my request or if you were laughing at the delay. But yeah, I did bring it up with Dominic at the party. I think I just mentioned that 3 times. I really need to stop sipping on this. It's been late and I haven't eaten much, but I love this. The can freaking seals itself. I was seriously worried because I was not. This is so good, but it's late. It's going on 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. It's late. I was not going to drink this whole thing tonight. So you get to, this is beautiful. You get to sip on it as much as you want and then reseal the can with the special tab and then stick it back in the refrigerator to sip on it again tomorrow night or whenever. Vodka soda, pineapple juice. They have other flavors, but I am a huge pineapple fan. Just like Lieutenant Reed, I have the same allergy. Not to the same extent, but I'm allergic to fresh pineapple. So I eat it sparingly. I still eat it. I eat it sparingly. As long as there's Benadryl in the world, I will keep eating pineapple because fresh pineapple is delicious, especially when you mix it with alcohol. Mark. I know you're not texting the two of them to see when they want to come on the show. So I'm just assuming that this is the delay that I'm just going to sit here and vamp and try and think if there's any more fun, exciting things that I can say while I'm waiting to see if you're going to answer me or if you're just going to, no comment is absolutely a fair response, by the way. I will accept no comment if you're not ready to say anything. But like I said, this is the official Shuttlepod Show after party. We've got a lot of amazing stuff planned. Like I said, not too many changes, except that I'm going to be YouTube only going forward. You guys found me. It's not that difficult. Especially when I bug you. Follow me on the socials. That would be awesome. If you could follow me on my socials. Let me see if I can find those. You know what's so funny? Oh, nope. I have got everybody else's stuff up here but mine. Seriously, I have the different ways that you can support SAG-AFTRA while they're on strike. SAGAFTRAstrike.org and SAGAFTRA.foundation. If you want to support Chase, you can go to BeKindMerch.org. If you want to support me, you can become a patron. Or if you would prefer, you could do some merch. That's where you can find my merch, which is ever changing. I'm having fun making my own merch. Designing my own merch is fun. You can see this is what I love. You can donate to the show. Click on the QR code and that will take you to my Square page and you can just donate that way. Just a flat out straight one-time donation where you can donate to the show. You guys have been amazing. I have nothing left on my Amazon wish list. Nothing left. I love these squares. I'm just enjoying being back. That is for my Patreon. So if you're on your phone, you can click on your Patreon. So, all right, I'm going to leave that one up. There's more in the chat. Let's see. I love behind the scenes. I love behind the scenes and appreciate all the components coming together. Yes, JR. Yeah, I think a lot of people. Oh, yeah, you know what? I was checking out Threads. I'm on there. The other thing that I'm doing now, guys, I am on a rock and roll online radio station, a classic rock online radio station. That profile of mine is on Threads. I'm not sure I'm going to stay on Threads, but yeah, Mark, I saw you guys on Threads. Stephanie, have you been watching us? Yes. I'm only a couple episodes in. I am not up to date. And the fact that Hayden Christensen's in it, now I'm like, oh, do I really want to go back and watch it? But I will. I will. I'll go back. When I'm caught up, I will absolutely be talking about that. Thank you for asking, Jober. I've watched like 2 episodes so far. Honestly, I've gotten caught up in some like non-sci-fi stuff right now, and I'm just enjoying that. Let's see. Left the shops having bought pineapple because pineapple is awesome. I love pineapple. Pineapple is awesome. Mark is avoiding my question. Now, it's official. Mark's avoiding the question because he was just talking about Threads and not answering me. It's okay, Mark. I can take a hint, but if anybody knows anything about me, it's always I shoot my shot. So, for next week, I will have in studio the one and only Mark Cartier from the Shuttlepod Show. And he will be talking about STLV from this year, what he thought, what it was like being a newbie, and, you know, whatever he wants to tell us about next year. And I'm guessing, hopefully, some more information about what is happening with the Shuttlepod Show to come, as far as the live event, the Patreon housewarming party for the studio, and all the cool stuff that he is going to be having going on there. So that does it for the very, 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 very first episode of the third season of the NX70. Oh, Jober! The biggest unresolved plot line from How I Met Your Mother. We never got the story behind the mysterious pineapple in Ted Mose's bedroom. That's funny. From a standpoint of that's funny. I never really got into How I Met Your Mother. And I know this sounds horrible. I mean, I watched some episodes and they were cute. Cannot stand Bob Saget, and the fact that he was the narrator sometimes really annoyed me. But that's so funny. I bet you, you know what? I bet you there are definitely fan theories online, Jober. I'm sure there are, but I think that's great. I never knew that. I did find out. Yes, Robert. We'll see you next week. I did find out that the pineapple in the ready room on lower decks, or in the captain's ready room in lower decks, is not an Enterprise shout out. I actually tweeted that at Mike McMahon, and he came back and said, nope, we just like pineapples. I'm like, Mike, you could have said yes. You could have just said yes. But at least he's making up for it this year, because there's already been a bunch of Enterprise shout outs, Enterprise Easter eggs. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's very sweet, Mark. I didn't know that. That is very sweet. You know how there are just some actors, and again, like, and I've said this about Diana Muldaur too. When I say I don't like Bob, that does not mean I knew him personally. That just means from what I've seen of him, I didn't like anything that he did. Like, Full House annoyed the hell out of me. I never really watched Full House. So, and I had listened to some of his stand-up. Just never clicked with me. So when I said I don't like Bob Saget, I don't mean I don't like Bob Saget as a person. I mean, I don't like his body of work, but I can't speak to him, to him as a person. So I am sorry, because he was definitely taken too soon. So that, yeah. How I Met Your Mother was basically my life. I thought the writers were fun. That's so funny. Oh my God. Oh my, you know what? I felt like that about Stephen King, Jober, like that he knew my life, because it seems like every time when I first started reading Stephen King, every time I picked up a Stephen King novel, I would read it, and there would be something in there that was so personal to me. It didn't have to be a plot line, just a line, just a reference, just a something. And I'd be like, get out of my head, Stephen King. So I know that feeling. I absolutely know that feeling. Yeah, his humor, Bob Saget's humor was definitely very different than how he portrayed himself. Like, if you thought that the dad on Full House was anything like the man was with his stand-up, you would be completely amazed by his humor, by his stand-up. I get that. But like, you know who else I don't like? If we want to be, I don't like Bob Newhart either. I've never liked anything Bob Newhart's done either. And he's like, oh my God, he's like an American treasure. Bob Newhart never did anything. Nope. And nope. Best thing about the Bob Newhart show was that it had Major Healy from My Dream of Jeannie in it. But yeah, I was never a fan of Bob Newhart's either. So, all right, guys, we're doing that long goodbye where you say goodbye and then, you know, you think of other things to say and then you say goodbye. And yep. So Bob Saget was great in Entourage. Never watched Entourage. Never watched Entourage. Just wasn't my cup of Earl Grey. George Carlin was awesome. George Carlin was definitely awesome. I will agree with you there. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I have a favorite stand-up. I mean, I like stand-up, and honestly, I hated Andrew Dice Clay. But then when you get past the fact that he's actually not a misogynist, he's actually really funny. And he's actually also not a bad person, and he's not a bad actor either. If you've watched Ford Fairlane cracked me up. I'm a terrible person. I'm a terrible person now because I don't like Two of America's Sweethearts. Sorry. Mark, does that mean you're never going to speak to me again? I know. I'm sorry. I don't like Bob Newhart. I just, but I have seen Starship Troopers at least. Don't forget, I actually did watch that. Okay, so be here next week. Assuming Mark Cartier is still going to do the show, although I feel like I'm going to spend the first 10 minutes defending the fact that I don't like some of America's favorite comedic talents. Mark, you're still invited to come on the show if you want. And I hope to see everybody back here next week. This is it. This is the show. We are here, Hell or High Water, Monday nights, live, 10 p.m. East, 7 p.m. Pacific, for those of you that don't know how to subtract 3. Mark. Sorry. I only say that because I always have to remind you of exactly what time it is here. Bye, JR. Everybody, thank you so much for popping in on second best movie ever made. All right, Mark, save it for next week, but you'll say what the first best movie ever made was. Okay, so thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming and helping me kick off my season. It was good to see all of you. And I know that I will see you all here. I hope to see you all here next week. Until then, don't forget, Shuttlepod Show live Wednesday night. Mark and the Shuttlepod Show will have more details and links and all that fun stuff for you, I'm sure. Mark your calendars, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Then you've got the Shuttlepod Show on Sunday, and you've got me next week. It's going to be a big week for all of the Chat Pack 2.0, and I will see you all again soon. Until then, live long and prosper.
This is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with Stephanie. Enjoy your evening.